Hollywood's gonna do what Hollywood's gonna do. If you like something, don't have no attachment to it, because chances are, whenever it gets adapted, it's going to change. Last week, I did a video here on the channel talking about the possibility that Zach Thompson, aka Tech Jacket, was going to be turned into a female character this season during the Vulturmite War. I did a complete video on it, breakdown, and my thoughts on it. Yes, it did officially happen in last night's episode. I think the people that are okay with this are the people that did not read the comic book. Here are the reasons why I'm not okay with this. And the reason why I'm done with the Invincible series altogether. One, I was almost kind of phasing myself out on this series before I ever even found out that Tech Jacket did end up becoming a female character. I have no problem with female characters at all. I'm allowed to have my opinion without being put into a certain subcategory of what people automatically want to classify people that have valid complaints. Now, Robert Kirkman has already made changes within the series by turning Amber from a white character to a black character. I was not upset with that situation because Amber in the comic books played your stereotypical white, blonde, female girlfriend for the main character. She really didn't have any substance other than, she was a pretty blonde white girl. Whereas Amber in the show had more character development. I didn't like everything they did with her, but she had a lot more character development than she did in the comic books. But when it comes to a character that I absolutely love, like Tech Jacket, this is a character that has been around longer than the Invincible character. This is also a Robert Kirkman creation. Tech Jacket is a phenomenal comic book series. I felt like this was a great introduction to people who did not read the comic books to get into Tech Jacket. And who knows, this could breathe all new life into the Tech Jacket comic. And now you automatically start off and you completely just change it. You want to have female interpretation or representation rather in the Vulturmite War. And that's really comes down to, because it's a group of guys beating up the Vulturmite and you want to have female representation there. So you take a character like Tech Jacket and make them female. You could have done that with Space Racer. You could have done that with Space Racer. No one cares about Space Racer. Like, you cannot change Battle Beast. You cannot change Tech Jacket. But then they went ahead and changed Tech Jacket. I was already falling off the series anyway, because I feel like the quality of the series just isn't good. I thought episode 4 was absolutely horrendous. Had nothing to do. It was an all new original story that never even took place in the comic books. Robert Kirkman wrote it for the series. I think the episodes are way too long. I don't understand why we have an hour-long animated series, and the artwork sucks. I'm going to come out and say it. The artwork is awful. The characters are blocky. It's very singular line. There's no detail. The color palette is very plain, just base colors, no kind of texture or shadows or highlights of any kind. And when you compare it to DC's Creature Commando or 97, like night and day. So the artwork was already falling off. The quality was already falling off. It's obvious to me that they care way more about having high talent voice actors than they actually do on the property themselves. This is a situation that The Walking Dead found themselves in. And the reason why I'm referencing The Walking Dead, because if you are a comic book fan and not a recent bandwagon dick rider of Invincible, you would know the writer Robert Kirkman, who wrote Invincible, also wrote The Walking Dead. And sure enough, by seasons 3 and 4, The Walking Dead started going downhill for a lot of the changes that they made that was not in the comic book. I, for one, stopped watching The Walking Dead after season 4. I was like, I was done. As someone who read every issue of The Walking Dead, it was Walking Dead in name only. Had nothing to do with the comics anymore. They went so far off the beaten path that it was no longer relevant to the source material. And now I feel like Invincible is going the same route. Like, episode 1, episode 2 was fine. Episode 3, episode 4, just a whole lot of mediocrity. And like I said, the animation has just not been there. It hasn't been good. and I just don't like where the series is going overall. It's a big letdown when you have a character who's been around longer than Mark Grayson and a character like Zach Thompson, and you completely just change him, change his name. Oh, his name is Zoe. If the quality was there and the animation was there, I would stick around to see where it goes. I might be turned off on the idea of taking my favorite character and completely changing who that character is, the fundamentals of that character. But if the writing was good and the art direction was good, I would stick around to see where it goes. Man, I can't sit there for an hour and watch these long drawn. Like, no one cares about the order. No one cares about a lot of these. Like, that works in comic book format. But when you go to a series, you need to cut out certain things that doesn't translate well to the series, to TV. And they just keep way too much stuff in that's not necessary. Now they're adding stuff, and now they're changing core fundamentals and characters that were established decades ago. I'm talking about over 20 years ago. I read every issue of Tech Jacket. I read every issue of Invincible. I read every issue of Walking Dead. I like Robert Kirkman as a writer, but for whatever reason, he's one of those guys that when he takes his properties from the page to the screen, he feels the need to tamper with it. It's like, stick with what got you to the dance. You know, is this some Hollywood BS that he had to do it? Did you need female representation in the Vulture Wars? I'm not entirely sure, but this is a huge letdown for me as a fan. I actually finished my reread of Tech Jacket. It's been about 10 years since I read Tech Jacket. I recently picked up the compendium and reread all of Tech Jacket. It's my third reread of the series, and every time I read it, I love it more and more, and I love the character more and more. And I was really looking forward to seeing that character on the screen this year. We're not getting it. We're getting a completely different character. So some people might be upset with what I'm saying. I think I've been very, very respectful, and hopefully people can be respectful in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. Stay safe. Until next time, as always, I'm Robert Storms, and that's my opinion.